In October of 2009, an indie company from California launched a game called League of Legends. You may have heard of it. And to make a long story short, it became one of the most successful video games of all time. And that's where this story begins. No form of popular media escapes plagiarism. This happens in video games, movies, music, realistically everything and anything. So with League of Legends popularizing a new genre of video games, many companies wanted a piece of this new potential money. Many, and I mean many, games were made which were heavily inspired by League of Legends. And the biggest, most shameful copycat has and always will be Mobile Legends. A game which released in July of 2016, and despite being the most blatant ripoff possible, it is still one of the most successful mobile games of all time. But eventually, Riot Games had enough and filed a lawsuit against the developers of Mobile Legends. But before we get into that, today's video is sponsored by SKILLSHARE. SKILLSHARE is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for creative and curious people, with courses ranging from photography, editing, and really anything you can think of. Personally, I always struggle with productivity, as you may be aware from my upload schedule. So courses like Ali Abdaal's Principles and Tools to Boost Your Productivity are quite useful. However, whether it's for self-improvement or just learning something new, there's definitely something for you on SKILLSHARE. The first 1,000 people to use the link in the description will get a free trial of SKILLSHARE Premium membership. And after that, it's only about $10 a month. Now with that being said, let's jump into the video. So with conversations constantly brewing about how Mobile Legends was literally just a clone of League on a mobile platform, eventually Riot was going to have to do something about this. And they did. Back in 2017, Moonton was served up a lawsuit by Riot Games. And the best part was that the details were actually quite public. And I know legal papers are really just a bunch of big, boring words to us regular people, but in their paperwork they specifically included images of how Moonton was copying Riot Games. Initially, this lawsuit was a big deal and gathered a big buzz on the internet when it happened. Mobile Legends players were really thinking that this was the end. But don't worry, Mobile Legends gamers, for the developers quickly responded to Riot's lawsuit by basically saying that the reports going around were simply fake news. Although that was clearly not true. And 1 year later, the lawsuit would come to a finish. Kind of.
So I decided to randomly check on this case today, and I was shocked to find this. Look at this. You see what this says? Terminated. The case was filed here. The case was terminated here, which means Mobile Legends actually won.
At first, it appeared the case wasn't going smoothly. When it was brought up to court in California, it was reported that the case was dismissed. However, that wasn't exactly a bad thing. The judge instead suggested that the case be handled by the courts in China, which is the home to Riot Games' parent company, Tencent. And so that's exactly what happened. But again, not a smooth process. The first official conclusion for such a lawsuit was that Moonton would be made to pay Riot Games $388,000. Though later, the courts came back and ruled that this amount was insufficient. And as you know, legal stuff takes forever. So after almost exactly a year since the lawsuit started, it finally came to an end. The final verdict went to Riot Games winning the lawsuit and Moonton being punished to a monetary fine of $2.9 million. Now, to me, and maybe even you, this is an incredible amount of life-changing money. This'll get you a couple bitcoins, but when you're both companies making millions per year, this is kind of a small punishment. But it's actually not so strange for Mobile Legends to basically get a slap on the wrist when the case is being handled in a country where copyright laws are incredibly complicated and at times non-existent when it comes to foreign entities. So back to the conclusion, a punishment of $3 million is and was completely irrelevant in this scenario. Because to put into perspective how insignificant this fine is, League of Legends generated $1.7 billion in 2020, meaning that $3 million would barely change anything in their business. That's probably less than the revenue one Lux skin brings in. Meanwhile, Mobile Legends has an estimated revenue of $350 million, meaning that a punishment of $3 million is just a sigh of relief. If anything, Moonton would gladly pay this price for everything they already copied from Riot. And that's exactly how they took it. Moonton took this $2.9 million as the cost of not only copying Riot, but the cost of being able to continue what they're doing, as after the lawsuit ended, they've only upped the amount of content they take from League of Legends. And let's be clear, we're not talking about friendly inspiration, or coincidental, very similar looking champions. Sometimes this company operates exactly one step behind Riot. Riot makes an auto chess game, Mobile Legends makes one as well. Riot decides to change the game's logo after their 10-year anniversary, and Mobile Legends changes their logo as well. Specifically, they changed their logo from this to this, which looks a little bit familiar. They even have their own bootleg champion spotlights. But it really never ends. You just have to keep looking and you'll find more odd similarities. Like back when Riot launched KDA, a K-pop music oriented skin line, Mobile Legends did the same thing, creating their own music and everything. I can't play any of the music due to copyright issues, but some of the Moonton songs even have similarities to KDA songs.
This is Manny Pacquiao, just like me, everyone can be a legend.
It's honestly quite impressive how far they go to look and sound like League of Legends. In general, the media Mobile Legends creates often has a lot of inspiration from past League content. Regardless, back to the reason why Mobile Legends has thrived for the past 5 years, it purely comes to the fact that League of Legends didn't exist on mobile devices, and those without computers to game on looked to Mobile Legends as an alternative. In fact, many years ago, Tencent actually requested Riot to make a mobile version, which Riot decided not to do. Tencent, being a company that corners every market in gaming, needed something in the mobile MOBA territory. So they made Arena of Valor, another complete clone of League of Legends, which today has generated almost $10 billion, as it's quite popular in China. And technically, how can it be a ripoff when both games are under the same company? But flash forward to today and things are changing. Not only is Riot now operating an official mobile version of their game, Wild Rift, but Riot has been directly competing against Moonton by using prominent Mobile Legends influencers to promote their game over Mobile Legends. This was especially prominent in their Southeast Asia beta, where they clearly made sure to give streamers from this region beta access to the game before the general player base, allowing these streamers to stream the game to an audience that would usually be watching Mobile Legends content. However, Moonton is aware of this and doesn't like it. They're countering Riot's efforts by paying other influential Mobile Legends players to not play Wild Rift.
Allegedly, some pro players came out and said they received offers to not play Wild Rift, but they didn't specify whether the offers came from Moonton or a third party.
Only thing is, it might be a little too late. As we speak, Riot is putting in effort to take players from some of Mobile Legends' biggest regions, even in the form of traditional advertising. There are currently a variety of billboards and glow-in-the-dark graffitis around the Philippines advertising Wild Rift. But anyway, let me know what you think about all this in the comments below. Do you yourself play Mobile Legends, or are you more of a PC gamer Do you yourself play Mobile Legends, or are you more of a PC gamer instead? Either way, if you made it this far and you're not yet subscribed, please consider subscribing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next week.